In this section, we will have a look at advanced routing. We will begin with nested routes for nesting UI and layout handling. Then we will have a look at promises to be able to handle async callback. Next, we will look at asynchronous routing, in which we will be using promises in Ember routes. And lastly, we will look at handling fulfillment and rejection to be able to gracefully handle errors in our application. Let us begin with nested routes. In this video, we will have a look at how Ember determines the template to be loaded based on the route, and then we will build upon this to be able to re-render only parts of our application. The first route to be loaded in an Ember application is always the application route, followed by the inner route depending on the URL. Depending on the level of nesting, we could have many intermediate routes rendered before the innermost route is rendered. Let us try that in our Ember application. In a new Ember application, we have the application.hps template file, which is always rendered on the first route, which means that we can use this template to hold all the content which could be rendered as part of our layout. Let us start by adding a bit of HTML to our template. We will add a bit of content as well as some CSS to be able to demarcate our route. And a bit of reset CSS. Next, let us generate a route called categories in our application. In our categories.hvs template, we will iterate through the list of all the categories that we have available. Let us also wrap all our content in a div. And let's add some CSS. Now when we visit our application and navigate to the categories URL, we see that the content of the categories.hvs template have been rendered into the outlet of the application route. Let us also make a call to the model hook of our categories route so that we can return a list of categories. Let us also render our category list using an unordered list. Further, let's generate a nested route under categories called images. Then in our categories/images.hps template, we could be rendering the relevant images for each of our categories. Using placeholder images from Lorem Pixel, and a bit of CSS for our images template. Now, navigating our application to the categories/images URL loads us the images template into the outlet of the categories template, which is in turn loaded into the outlet of the application template. We could generate another nested route under categories called description. Again, wrapping our content in a div with the class description. Similar styling. And then we could add a couple of links in our categories.hvs template. Now, visiting our application, we can see that if we visit the description template, only the relevant outlet, that is the outlet of the categories template, is re-rendered. Similarly, on visiting the images route, only the relevant outlet of the categories route is updated. Thus, we have seen how nested UIs work in Ember.